Good evening, YTPC. JackJazzm here. Greetings to all. Hope all of you are well. And for those of you who are not, I wish you a speedy recovery. Decided to do my first live here for the YTPC. If you've ever been on my channel before, then you know that I have other content other than content for pipes and tobacco. I also have music and things pertaining to the arts and videography, etc. But I decided to go live and do my first live video on pipes and tobacco, just to have a little chat. Anyone who is coming across this video for anything else, you're welcome to continue to observe and feel free to comment. But this video was put in mind for my YTPC folks. So I'm getting off of work, and I'd say probably about 3 times a week at least. I tend to pick one of my tobacco pipes to enjoy on my ride home. I've actually been enjoying my Eric Norton Freehand Extra Large, one of my favorite pipes. Definitely one of my favorite Eric Nortons. But I try not to use it too often. For one, it's a brute. I don't know if brute would be the exact phrase I want to use because it's actually a very beautiful pipe. You can see the wood grain on there. They did a very good job of catching the wood grain and making it contour to how they carved the design of the briar and accented it with a nice lengthy stem to balance it out. It's a sitter. I think it's pretty awesome. Glad to have it in my collection. But we're giving that one a break, and I decided to rotate back around to my unfinished Savinelli, and not sure how well you'd be able to see the little Savinelli mark in there, kind of going across to where it says Italy right in here. Let me see if I can make that look a little better. But yeah, since I've had it, it's the colored very well, and it seems like the more color that gets added to it, you're able to see those lines in the wood grain more and more visible, as well as the little imperfections that made it such a cost-worthy purchase. And as always, my little softy bits. And what we're gonna be putting in this today or this evening is gonna be some plum cake by Mr. McBaron, the Navy blend. Very natural smelling. And for those of you not familiar with it, let's see if I can let you know what we got in here. I know there's definitely Cavendish in here. Definitely got some Cavendish. I'm looking at the literature on here to see if they actually outline it. Okay, plum cake brings the thought back to old times. The sailors on board the sailing ships filled their pipe with good, satisfying tobacco, and having the scent of tar and salt water all around them, bright Virginia tobacco mixed with burley, a little original MacBaron Cavendish, and just a touch of Syrian Latakia. On top, this masterly blend of original Jamaican rum has been added to fulfill the impression. This blend is full bodied and rich, giving you the taste, the nuance of natural sweetness added with a slight taste of smoke, Latakia, and the distinctive aroma of the sailor rum. So there you have it. We got Virginia, Burley, Cavendish with a touch of Syrian Latakia and topped with Jamaican rum. A very savory flavor, in my opinion. I think it has just the right amount of Latakia. I'm not big on heavy Latakia blends, so this is a very good amount. The Latakia is evident when you smell it, as well as the Cavendish. And when you look into it, this is what you're getting. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and load up my little unfinished Savinelli. And we're live, so I can't edit the cut to the good stuff. So you're just gonna have to be patient. I mean, it don't take too long anyway, but this bowl is actually a pretty reasonable sized bowl. Not on the small side, but definitely not on the large side. All right, we got her loaded up. Make sure we close that because I don't need it going all over my vehicle. Let me see, let me see, let me see if my lighter wants to work. Never wants to work when you got company. Do they? They sure don't. Probably because I need to refill them. So let's go with what you never got to worry about. Not lighting. Trusty old matchbox. Let that sulfur burn off before I put that on there. Definitely don't want to be inhaling that stuff. I believe we're at 55 today. A little bit warmer than what it's been the past couple of days. The rain has slowed down some. It's still wet out today, and it was real misty earlier. So right now, it's real humid. good char like. Win wants to compete with me, so let's give it one more like. We got a char like that went pretty good. And we are good to go, folks. So just being transparent, I didn't have a particular topic to chat on today. Just really wanted to put another video out there and decided to go live because I've never done one, especially for my brothers and sisters of belief in the YTPC. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna take a little bit of time to do that today. Because there are so many of you that put out videos consistently that I and other viewers get to enjoy and like and comment on. And I said, why not take the time to share as well and let your YTPC brothers and sisters know that you appreciate them sharing their videos. There's been a number of you that I've been watching your videos lately, and enjoying. I've left comments on your pages. I try to make sure that any video that I watch and I enjoy all the way through, that I make a comment. Because, it's good to get the likes, but you don't know who's liking your videos. So when I like a video, I'll hit that little like button and I'll leave a comment to let you know I appreciate you sharing your video. And if you haven't received one from me yet, comment that is, then it's probably because I haven't come across your video as of yet or your channel. Because with the way YouTube is set up, it keeps the people in rotation that you're subscribed to. That every time they upload a video, you get a notification or they show up on your wall, your timeline. I'm not sure what you would call it on YouTube, but in the rotation of the videos that are on your home page, it shows up. So those normally are the videos that you come across first. And I tend to, watch the videos that are recommended according to those videos, or that somebody in the video might recommend if they, know another person in the YTPC that they've come across a video and they may be new and they say, hey, go by, check them out. I'll say about 50% of the time I'll go check them out. I've been really enjoying Brethren 2 a.m. pipe on the patio, I believe is how his channel goes. Very laid back gentleman, well spoken. Just an interesting conversation. You know, he talks about his family sometimes. He talks about some issues he may be going through. And he has the coolest 320s. Now, anybody who knows me when it comes to these pipes, the 320 is one of my favorite shapes. Currently have two 320s in my collection that were very hard to come by for some reason in Atlanta. But I ended up finding one EX. It's called the Luca, Lucca, Rossi Luca 8320 EX. A big 320. Love it. It's rusticated. I'll share it with y'all in the actual video sometime soon. Then I have a Rossi Rubino natural smooth finish. Beautiful pipe. Both of them smoke great. Both of them feel great in the hand. And they're just beautiful pipes. I love the 320s, but he has a collection of 320s. I believe, per his last video I saw, he's at 6 320s that he has. Hey, I was just talking about you. Appreciate you checking in. Am I correct that you're currently at 6 320s in your collection? I know you said you had well, I know you have the Rubino. Yeah, I was just saying how I've been enjoying your videos lately, and how you have some really great 320s in your collection. Good conversation. Okay, yeah, he just confirmed that he had 6. I know you have the Rubino because I have that exact one in my collection. I've seen you with an unfinished Savinelli 320 in one of your recent videos, and then you also have, trying to think of the proper name of it, the Saint Nick. I've seen in one of your videos, 320. Also a good looking pipe. Well, yeah, this is my only unfinished pipe that I have, and that's the Savinelli. I can't remember what model this is because it's not carved on here, but I did find out which one it was after I made the purchase. But I'm sure you folks that are more experienced with these shapes know exactly what that is. And if I can make a confession, I actually bought it because I was having such a hard time finding. Okay, it says he also has the Roma, Venezia, and the Trevi. The Trevi is a very popular one, and I actually had the opportunity to get a Trevi, but it wasn't a 320. It was actually a poker, and I didn't like that it had a super long stem on it. It was a poker that was supposed to be sitting, but it wouldn't sit. Oh, well, I'm glad I had a part in that because I actually enjoy mines, and I actually was surprised at how much it was changing when I got it. So I actually learned from the community about why it changes and everything, the oils on your hand, the tobacco you're using in it. So that was a great thing to hear. So that just confirmation that me doing this live on my way from work today was a plus. Appreciate that. But I believe I'm gonna have to try to catch up with you with on 320s. Uh, I'm trying not to order online. I like to be able to see my pipes before I purchase them, hold them in my hand, make sure the draw holes are, even and everything like that. Because I've had it where I've seen some pipes that were actually uh, top name brands. I could use that reference. That I'm looking at them in the tobacconist, and there's some things that are off. Yes, that was actually my official introductory video where I showed my unfinished Savinelli and showed the way it looked before and then the way it looked after. But yes, I'm doing too much talking now because my pipe has gone out here. But I guess that's a telltale sign of a good conversation. I'm going to use one of my larger matches here so we can only make one strike and get her done. Have you tried McBaron's plum cake? I actually enjoy it, not as much as some of my other ones. Yes, I do recall seeing that in several videos. Okay, well, if you haven't tried it and you're able to get your hands on it, definitely try it. I'm glad I tried it because I hadn't had any blends prior to getting this blend, which I've had this for probably almost a year now. Prior to getting that blend, I had never really tried anything with Latakia in it. And after trying that, I actually went into some more heavier Oriental blends with a little more Latakia, just to get different taste and see how I liked it. Now, there was one blend in particular that I tried that when I first tried it, I did not like, and that was Suge, God of Wind and God of Thunder. I would recommend that blend to any enthusiast that loves Latakia, Oriental blends, English with a heavy Virginia. Even though you have the heavy Virginia in it, it's still pretty much overwhelmed by the nature flavor of the Orientals with that Latakia. It actually, when you smell it from the tin, no problem at all. I was actually speaking of how I ended up trying other blends that had Latakia in them because of the plum cake, and was speaking on Suge, which is actually a well-known pipe maker. He actually has a tobacco, and the two that I tried had the recommendation of one of my tobacconists were the God of Wind and the God of Thunder, which I really did not like the first time I tried it. the god of wind. I actually was afraid to try the god of thunder. A slight taste of plum in the plum cake. I think what you're going to taste more in that plum cake is because they put the Jamaican rum topping, is the rum flavor, a slight plum, but you're getting that Latakia and Cavendish is what I get from it. Those flavors stick out a little bit more to me. So it has a natural smell, but when you actually are inhaling and tasting the flavor, not inhaling the smoke, but the flavors and tasting the flavor as you, yes, sir, you do have to try it. You actually, well, what I get are those notes of Latakia. You get that little bit of smokiness of the Latakia. You get the hint of the Jamaican rum, plum, and the Cavendish. The Virginias are here and there. I showed how the tobacco looks. It's more of a brownish. You don't get that much of the light Virginias that you can see visually. You can see them, but they're not like 50%. I wouldn't say that the Virginia is 50%. So yeah, so it's being overwhelmed by, not overwhelmed, but more dominated by the Cavendish rum flavoring and the Latakia. But back to the Sugay. The Sugay, god of wind, god of thunder, very naturey flavors. And when you smell them from the tin, it actually almost smells like outdoors and manure, which totally threw me off when I cracked it open the first time almost a year ago. And upon lighting and engaging with the flavors, the way it smelled from the tin actually came through the flavors. But that Latakia was something to be reckoned with for me because I don't come from a background of smoking cigarettes or heavy cigars. When I smoke cigars, which is here and there, I try to stay with the Connecticut's, the middle range. I don't want anything that's going to have a heavy nicotine hit to it, and all this extra natural flavor. I like to enjoy something nice and mellow. So, with that said, I ended up going back to that particular tobacconist, Akbar, very nice guy, and saying to him, "Hey, man, this thing is pretty strong. It's got a real hit to it." And as I'm talking to him, I recall that he loves the higher, stronger cigars, which I did not take into consideration when he made the recommendation. So what Akbar's recommendation was, if it's too strong, leave it in the tin, let it sit for a couple months to a year, and come back to it. I'm right there with you, brother. I'm not into the nicotine, and I actually smoked a cigar um, a while back that had me very lightheaded and actually woke me up middle of the night, early in the morning with cold sweats, banging headache. And after doing some research, I realized I had nicotine poisoning. So after having that experience, I recall you speaking about that on one of your videos and how your wife kept laughing at you. But yeah, I don't like having those type of experiences. So after that, I'm very selective about the type of cigars that I peruse on the occasions that I do. But I'm more of a briar man. So hence me and my pipes. Oh, just got a bunch of ash all over myself. But yeah, he recommended that I let it sit for a couple months to a year, in which the sugar in the tobacco will begin to crystallize and make it a little sweeter. And I went ahead and did that, and I tell you what, Akbar knows what he's talking about. Because the next time I tried it, I did it for about 5 to 6 months, probably around 5 months. I could actually taste a difference. It didn't change the strength of the Latakia or the dominance of it, but it was a little bit sweeter. I actually could taste a little bit of like a raisin flavor in it that I didn't notice before the first time I tried it. So I guess that would be a little bit of a informative thing for anybody who's trying something that has Latakia and is not a straight English blend. If it does actually have some other tobaccos mixed in it, you may want to let it sit for a while and come back to it. Let it mature some more because I say about 9 times out of 10, tobacco you're buying at a shop locally, unless they've been around for a long time. I can't recall a time where I picked up a tobacco that was older than 2017, or should I say younger than 2017. In the times that I have come across some younger than that, the 10 have been sitting so long that those flavors were hard to bring out once they were the tip of the 10 was open. I actually have a 10 of a blend. It's in my back of my vehicle in my bag. Pistachio. I've been letting that sit, and every time I come back to it, that one doesn't get any better. So I'm thinking it may have been opened at some point, maybe even left open for a while, but no pistachio flavors in that. And for it being in a 10, it's pretty dry. And I'm not one of those guys who's big on hydrating my tobacco. If I buy it, I like it to be at a decent consistency. I prefer it to be a little wet to where I can dry it out than for it to be really dry and have to try to hydrate it because that process seems like a little bit too much to be going through for something that I paid more than $10 for. I actually remember when I bought that particular 10, I bought two, went out to the car, tried it out, took it back into the tobacconist, and they were willing to trade both of them out. So I said, well, you know what? Since I opened this one, I'll hold on to this one. We can go ahead and swap the other one out. And I ended up swapping it for some McBaron Black Cavendish, I believe, which is a blend I love as well. If you haven't tried the I'm sorry, not Black Cavendish, Black Ambrosia, which is a heavy Cavendish blend, very good flavor, good room note. Not something that's gonna run everybody away from you. You know, it's pleasant, but still smells like tobacco. Yes, sir. I've tried some tobaccos that were super wet, and I've learned that certain pipes, I think you're referring to the one that says pistachio. I can't remember who made it, because I'm not looking at it right now. I don't want to say the wrong thing and then, have somebody coming after me because I called out the wrong thing. But I know the flavor is pistachio. and I wanted to try it because I had never heard of that. But it was pretty dried out. I believe it may be a 2014 10. The one I said you should try is the Plum Cake by McBaron. And I'll show you the 10 because I know sometimes visually it'll help us to remember. But it's McBaron Plum Cake. And this is the navy blend. I believe it does come in other types of cut. But that's that one. But I also like, you're very welcome, sir. I also like a couple different flake cuts. I hear you, brother. This is another one by McBaron that's one of my favorite. I love this stuff right here. Vanilla cream. And this is the actual flake cut. This stuff smells great. Straight out of the can. Smells even better out of the pipe. Look at that. Your comment went off my screen too quick. Yes, it is. This is probably my fourth 10 in less than 6 months. I love this stuff. But I was trying to see what you were saying to call you. It went off the screen too fast for me. I'm not sure if it's because I got this in landscape mode that I'm not able to see the comments after they go up. They're kind of like floating up on the screen and then disappearing. So I didn't see what you were telling me to call you, but I'll keep the sir out of it because I tend to tell people the same thing when they're calling me sir out of respect. I said, well, that's my father. So I do know how you feel. And I think it's just because I'm still in work mode that I keep saying sir. Is that onion? Onion? Trying to make sure I pronounce that correctly. Oh, onion, like the vegetable. Okay, I got you. I will definitely remember that. Well, I would definitely call you onion then, my friend. Mm, just about down in the last part of our bowl here. Share one more with you guys of my favorite flakes. Now this is another blend here. This is a Virginia Flake by Eric Nording, Hunter Blend Beagle. And I can't remember who I saw with this, but they had the Labrador version of it. There's three different in this Hunter blend, three different types. The Beagle, the Labrador, and I can't remember what the other one is. But as simple as a label as this is a pretty good flake. Awesome. And this has dark rich matured Virginia flake made from mellow premium orange and red Virginias, seasoned with kind of rubbed off there. The finest St. James Parish Perique. That Perique gives that all of that Virginia the perfect amount of spice to kick it up a notch without turning you off. And one thing I like about these flakes, I use the fold and stuff method with my flakes. Um, I tried the rubbing method one time, and I found that it didn't burn as slow as I like when I did that method. So I tend to stick to the folding stuff. I love it. I think the main reason because I like how it feels in my hand when I do it, and I kind of put it down in there, fold it up to the size of the chamber, get it stuffed down in there, and then I'll hold it and twist. George R, what's going on, brethren? Glad you're joining. But what I'll do is I'll stuff that down in there, onion, and I'll take it and twist it around in my pipe like that to break it up some. And it also helps to take up some more of that oxygen in there. Onion says, hey, George. But yeah, I love how slow those flakes burn. Every flake I've had so far is burned slow, even. Um, Rarely have to tamp it. I love those. I don't think enough flavors come in the flake for me. It may just be the area where I'm in. I actually go to like 6 different tobacconists around the Atlanta area to get what I want and find what I want because all of them kind of have I guess favorites at their places. And same thing with their tobacco pipes. I would definitely try to do them more often. Yes, sir, George. Um, but I've gone to my main one that I was speaking of Akbar about earlier, who recommended the Suge tobacco to me. When I originally started going to him, they had mainly Peterson pipes. They had other pipes as well, some other Italian blends, and that's actually where I got my first Italian pipe, which is the Maestro Baraldi Squatty Dublin. Hey, Chad. Um, One of my favorite Italian pipes that I have. Blue Navy cut. I have seen that several times, and now that you recommend it, I would definitely try that. Thank you for that recommendation. Blue Navy cut. Um, yeah, they specialize mainly. Well, I won't say specialize. They carried a lot of Petersons, so ended up purchasing Petersons from there. I think in my collection now I have 4 Petersons, and kind of got bored with the Peterson shapes and started going around looking for something else, and ended up going to this other place called Puff and Stuff is the name of the place. They also specialize in cigars and pipe tobacco and pipes. And they have mainly Eric Nordings, which is where I got out of my 4 Eric Nordings. I believe I got 3 from there. A Nubian one, which is very smooth with the long bent stem that any wet tobacco you put in it, you're going to get tongue bite. For some reason, that particular pipe does not like wet tobacco. And it may just be because of that stem. Yes, if you're trying to avoid rim char, as you can see, this is unfinished and I don't have any rim char on there. What I recommend you use, if you're not that good with the matches, pipe lighter. I have several pipe lighters. These are just the 2 I have in my vehicle now that I leave in here. But pipe lighters are very good for getting that flame right over your chamber, and you don't point it in there, you use a big lighter. What you want to do is make sure you keep your flame above and draw it down when you're taking your draws. A lot of times you're getting that flame too big, and you're letting it actually come in contact. You don't want to let your flame come in contact there. You want to keep it setting about at least this far away, to where when you pull to light your tobacco, you're drawing the flame directly down into that chamber. Yardism, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. But yeah, that's something that is an easy mistake to do, because you're so focused on getting your tobacco lit that you're not noticing exactly what's going on until you move that flame out of the way and you're enjoying your pipe, and you might just be looking at it saying, man, this is beautiful, to yourself. Because I know I say it all the time. I mean, who buys a pipe that they don't think is beautiful? And then you look and see that soot, that little smoky black sitting on top of there, and you're like, ah, especially when it's brand new. You say you just got one yesterday. I'm sure you do not want to see that on there. But if you do happen to get it on there, you can easily get it off by using a damp cloth, not soppy wet, but damp, and rub around that rim like so. It'll take it off. That's if you don't wait for it to cool off and then let it sit for a couple of days. It'll come right off. As long as you don't have one of those rusticated finishes on the top, it'll be easy to get off. And then rusticated, unless you have a really light colored rustication, you won't be able to get it off. It says a billiard that's deep. I didn't see the rest of your comment because they're just bubbling up and then they fade away. But it looks like you said you have a billiard that has a deep chamber, I'm assuming you're referring to. And I mean, either way, if you're filling your tobacco almost to the top, on your draw, that air that you're drawing is going to pull that flame down into there. Now, you might want to use a smaller lighter. Maybe that's the issue, or turn the flame down on your lighter. Okay, you're doing half bowls. You might want to try a smaller lighter and make sure you turn that flame down. Sometimes when you get a new lighter and you go and light it, you got a flame coming up this high. You don't need that much flame to come up to get that thing lighted, especially on your char light. And normally it's between your char light, when you're letting that char on there, that you're getting all that extra heat touching your rim right there. So try turning down your lighter. If that's not going to work for you, then try getting something smaller. But I recommend, if you don't like using matches, to get a pipe lighter. It makes it a lot easier. You can adjust your flame on there. It's not going to have too much heat, to that burning up here. It's going to be the same intensity as a Bic lighter or anything else you'll use that's a regular lighter, that's not a torch lighter. And you want to keep it above and draw that fire down in there. And you definitely don't want to do long, long pulls, because that's going to cause the flame to sit there and float around, and that could get your rim, kind of tarted up there too, if that makes any sense. But I hope that was helpful, because I definitely know that when I got back into smoking tobacco through a pipe and got serious about it, I was wishing there was people around to give me that advice. Not to say that I burned up a whole lot of my rims, because I'm a kind of meticulous person by nature, and I'm an artist, so I like to see my beauty remain beautiful. I'm kind of anal when it comes to that stuff. I don't like my things getting scuffed up and scratched. And the first time I dropped one of my pipes, I almost had a heart attack. All of my pipes have the softy bit because I don't want to scratch up my stems, and because I want to protect my teeth. I'm going on 40 years old. I'm trying to protect these things I got in my mouth. Grew up in North Alabama. I've been up and through Alabama. I've never actually spent any time there, but I'm a southern child. I grew up in Miami, Florida, and moved here back in '07 from the Bahamas. If you're able to see how I just did that, I kept the flame here and drew the fire down into it. As you can see, 95, I was nowhere near Atlanta in 95. I was in high school back in Florida. And these matches actually come from the other tobacconists I came across, where I had to drive out to Athens because they were the only place I found that had a 320, and that was where I got the Luca EX 8320 that I have that's rusticated. Love that thing. It's a jumbo 320, beautiful. Oh, most definitely. I did not want to leave. It's a lot more laid back, a lot more ways to make money without working for somebody, and you can't beat the weather. Beaches all around you. But ended up moving here because my ex-wife and I at the time wanted to buy land, and she was working for Bank of America, not Bank of America, J.P. Morgan Chase in the Bahamas, and wanted to come back to the States. Only thing was open was here in Kennesaw, Georgia. So that's how we ended up here back in '07. Definitely tasting that Latakia in here now. That's one of the things I love about these different flavored tobaccos, is they all have their own characteristics. May start off where you tasting the full bodiness of everything all encompassed, but then as you get down into that bowl, you start to fill out more flavors other than others, more than others rather. And if I didn't already say it, I really appreciate you guys tuning in and checking me out. I was very privileged to have you on with me, Onion, because I've been enjoying your videos like crazy. You're very welcome. I appreciate it, brother. For those of you who didn't see, appreciate it. I appreciate it. I enjoy yours as well. This is my Eric Norden freehand large that I purchased a while back. One of my favorite Eric Nordens. I have 4 total. This is one of the 2 more beautiful. Oh yeah, definitely. I love big bowls, and I love having the girth. As you can see, I'm 6'2", I have extra large hands, so you can have an idea of how deep that bowl is. It's almost to my knuckle. So it's definitely one that you can enjoy when you have some time on your hands. Beautiful pipe. I love the fact that it's a sitter. Not one you want to leave in your clench like so for too long, but one that you want to enjoy while you're having to sit down, maybe sipping your favorite beverage. And like I said, you have some time on your hands. Greetings from France. Greetings from Atlanta. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I think this bowl is just about done. Let me see. I'm gonna let this one cool off if it's actually finished. Because I will be definitely enjoying another one, another bowl, probably out of my Maestro Baroli that I have sitting on my nightstand at home. Another little Italian pipe. I love Italian pipes. I don't know why I favor the Italian pipe so much, but I believe I get more of those attracting my attention than a lot of the other ones. I think it's because their shapes I like better. They tend to have. George, in case you didn't see Onion's comment, he said he just subbed to you. Sharing the love, sharing the love. Sub love indeed. And George, make sure you message me so I can check your channel out and sub as well. Because that's how we do it in the YTPC. All right, gentlemen, I'm going to get on the road. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with how traffic is in Atlanta, but it is crazy. I believe we started the year off with about 200 fatalities in January or the beginning of February. We began the year with those fatalities. So you definitely have to be a defensive driver on the roads in Atlanta on these highways. But as I said before, I do appreciate you guys checking me out and joining me and making my conversation a little better and enjoyable. It was a privilege to have you guys on here with me, and I would definitely try to go live more often. A lot easier than having to upload and edit a video, so I'll definitely do it more often. So until next time, you guys be blessed and keep sharing love, all right?